EA, what have you done again? January 31st, 2025, a day that was supposed to be a grand celebration of 25 years of the Sims franchise, but instead, it became yet another embarrassing chapter in the EA's long history of blunders. The Sims 1 and The Sims 2 were re-released, but not as the nostalgic polished remastered versions fans were hoping for, no. Instead, what we got was a broken barebones mess that not only disappointed longtime players, but enraged the entire community. This was supposed to be a moment of joy, a return to where it all began. But what EA gave us was nothing short of a disaster. I'm Pixelated Quest, and stay with me because in the next few minutes, we're diving deep into how EA completely botched this release, the backlash that followed, and why this is just the latest in a long line of betrayals to the Sims community. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel or leaving a like or a comment. Now let's begin. When EA first announced that The Sims 1 and The Sims 2 would be coming back, fans were thrilled. After all, these games defined a generation, me including. The nostalgia was real, and I can still remember the year 2000 and the first time I got my hands on the original Sims 1 game. Pure joy that was, let me tell you. For years, players had been begging for official support, a remaster, or even just a stable way to play these classics on modern systems. And EA listened. Or so we thought. On paper, it sounded like a dream. EA marketed it as a legacy collection, a way to experience these beloved games once again. But in reality, what we got was far from a loving tribute. Instead, EA delivered a sloppy, rushed, and barely functional port that immediately faced backlash the moment players got their hands on it. As soon as players got their hands on the so-called Legacy Collection, the dream turned into a nightmare. From the second players launched the games, the problems were everywhere. Constant crashes, some players couldn't even get past the main menu. Horrible resolution scaling, a 2025 release that looked and felt worse than fan-made mods from 20 years ago. Missing features, no graphic updates, no bug fixes, and worst of all, a complete lack of essential compatibility tweaks that could have made these games playable on modern hardware. But it gets worse. Even if you somehow managed to get the game running, you were greeted with glitches, bugs, and an overall unoptimized mess. Entire neighborhoods failed to load correctly, characters would randomly vanish, and AI behavior was even more broken than before. The same company that expects players to spend hundreds of dollars on Sims 4 expansions, around $900 to be exact, couldn't even be bothered to make sure the re-release versions of Sims 1 and 2 worked properly. Essentially, most of us got their nostalgia crush under a pile of glitches. It didn't take long for the Sims community to erupt in outrage. Steam reviews were flooded with negative ratings. Longtime fans who supported the Sims franchise for decades felt betrayed. Here are some of the reviews. Crashes after creating a family. Apparently no one bothered to test this re-release. Broken game. Crashes when you create a family. Would be nice if they tested the key feature before releasing, but it's EA. Who the hell ports a 2000 game and doesn't even scale the UI to modern resolutions? It's impossible to play like this. It's wonderful to see a re-release of the classic, but if EA wasn't going to even bother making it work, they could have at least made it cheaper. These were just some of the milder reactions, and honestly, they weren't wrong. Fans immediately pointed out that unofficial modders and preservationists had done a better job maintaining these games than EA themselves. Free patches from the community had already fixed many of the issues years ago, yet EA, with all their resources, couldn't be bothered to even attempt basic quality control? It became clear, this wasn't a re-release made for the players, it was a rush cash grab meant to milk nostalgia without any real effort. For example, there is currently a special event on Steam going on called The Sims 25 Celebrate 25 Years, claiming to feature discounted Sims games, yet the only discounted games are the garbage DLCs for Sims 4. Both the Sims 1 and 2 Legacy Collection titles are at full price. Sims 1 costs $20 and Sims 2 costs $30, which is insane, especially considering that Sims 2 was free on Origins a couple of years ago. Even mainstream gaming outlets started covering the disaster, making it impossible for EA to ignore the backlash. YouTubers, journalists, and even former EA developers weighed in criticizing how the company has handled this so poorly. And then came EA's response, or should I say, the lack of it. At first, EA was completely silent, no acknowledgement of the issues, no promise to fix them. It was as if they were hoping the backlash would just disappear. This isn't the first time EA has gone radio silent after a backlash. It happened with Battlefield 2042, it happened with Anthem, and now it's happening again. Then, after relentless pressure from the fans, EA finally spoke up, issuing a statement that could be summed up as corporate damage control. It reads, "We recognize some fans are currently experiencing various issues with the Sims Legacy Collection and the Sims 2 Legacy Collection. We're currently investigating these issues and hope to have more information on fixes soon." And so on. But here's the problem, EA has made these kind of promises before, and time again they have failed to deliver. But to be fair, while recording this video, EA has released 2 patches for both the Sims Legacy Collection and the Sims 2 Legacy Collection, trying to fix some of the issues, but in both games I am still experiencing the exact same issues as are other players going by the most recent reviews on Steam. To understand how EA ended up here releasing a broken nostalgia-fueled cash grab, we need to look at the bigger picture. EA wasn't always like this. There were times they were known for quality, for innovation, for pushing boundaries in gaming. So what actually happened? It all boils down to a shift in priorities. The turning point came in the late 2000s to early 2010s, when EA began aggressively transforming from a game development powerhouse to a live service and monetization-driven corporation. Rather than focusing on making great games, their core strategy became profit over player experience. Around 2014, EA shuts down Maxis' original Sims studio in favor of tighter corporate control. That same year, The Sims 4 launches as a bare-bone feature-stripped game because EA realized they could sell back missing content as DLCs. From 2015 to 2023, EA turns The Sims into an endless cycle of overpriced expansions, kits, and microtransactions, prioritizing revenue over actual gameplay depth. And now, here we are. The Sims 1 and 2 relaunch was never about preservation, it was never about celebrating the franchise, it was only about making a quick buck with minimal effort. This is why it's failing so spectacularly, because the Sims community isn't stupid. Fans saw right through the deception. They expected a passionate re-release, but instead they got a broken, lazy cash grab. At this point, EA's reputation with The Sims is hanging by a thread, and if they continue down this path, they might just kill the franchise for good. And honestly, this is just the latest in a long list of embarrassments for the Sims franchise. The Sims 4 launched in 2014, missing basic features like pools, toddlers, and even open world. It took years for EA to fix the game, but only after selling back content as paid DLCs. Every expansion pack felt more and more like a cash grab, even basic additions like pets and seasons were locked behind expensive paywalls. And now, instead of giving fans what they've been begging for, a proper Sims 1 and 2 remaster or actual Sims 5 reveal, EA decides to slap together a disastrous re-release and call it a celebration? It's clear that EA doesn't see The Sims as a beloved franchise. They see it as a cash cow to be milked until there's nothing left. I think it's time for The Sims fans to take EA behind the barn, put it down for good, or at least until they stop selling us a DLC simulator while calling it a game. I mean, at this point Sims 4 have more expansion packs than I have real life skills. It would be best for everyone if EA just hired the modders, because they're the only ones who actually care about The Sims. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Congratulations to the winners of this giveaway, listed here. Send me an email to claim your Steam key. If you also want to participate in the next giveaway, which will be in the next video I release, simply subscribe to my channel. I will be picking 5 random subscribers with each video releasing. Thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoyed, please consider subscribing to my channel and leaving a like or a comment. This would help me make more such videos and grow my channel. Have a wonderful day.